Hello, beautifuls. If it is echoey, I apologize. I am in a room that is more or less empty, barren, vacant, and the entire suite is more or less empty at this point. And the perspective I wanted to share today is regarding my journey to this place of an empty space. I have wanted to pursue a certain lifestyle for about 3 years, and that being one a little bit more nomadic. And it is something that a lot of my friends advised against, and yet there still was a calling. Even though the idea of getting rid of all my beautiful things seemed difficult. However, once I made the decision that I was doing it, I jumped both feet in and I started to liquidate everything. And it was fun and it was exciting. I won't lie, there were moments where I was like, okay, are you sure you want to be doing this? Because there's an emotional attachment to some of those things. But many of my friends questioned how I could sell all my things and not be concerned and not be upset. And I thought about it, and I thought of a perfect illustration. So let's give the example of somebody who wants to travel. So they want to travel abroad, they're going to be gone for a long time. So it doesn't make sense for them to hold on to their possessions. So they decide to liquidate and sell. And it also gives them more money to travel. And the result is they get to go on this amazing vacation or experience. And so the act of selling their things is just a step towards this wonderful goal, and that step is filled with emotion of excitement and feelings of anticipation, right? However, if we have somebody who's been forced to sell their things, maybe it is a financial situation they found themselves in and they need to liquidate in order to come up with some cash. Now, one would imagine that selling your things under those circumstances, where it feels forced, would be different. You might have feelings of anxiety, fear, and maybe even sadness. And yet, when we look at those two scenarios, the event is the same thing. You are simply selling your possessions. No emotion attached to it. The emotion comes when we attach the thoughts and the stories and what we believe about the event or the action. But the action itself is not fearful. The change that we are experiencing is not fearful. It's the stories, the thoughts that we tell ourselves, and then the emotions come up. The reason why I wanted to share this perspective is because at this point in time, we are experiencing so many events that we have never experienced before. We are experiencing situations, and we see on the news continually that things are changing. And it would be easy for us to get wrapped up in the hype and the hysteria that is in social media, that is on the news, either side, right? Because there are two sides of the field. Yet the events themselves are neutral. The changes are neutral. And the invitation today is for each and every one of us to look at the events and changes that are occurring in our experience and to see where we might be attaching a story that doesn't necessarily need to be there. And when we look deeply at that, and we understand that we maybe have attached stories where they don't need to be, we will see an expansion in our growth and in our experience. I thank you so much for sticking with me for this perspective. And until we speak again, please be well.